Prepositions are used everywhere in a sentence. They form part of the smallest parts of the sentence, but they can be very confusing at times. Join me in this lesson as I take you through prepositions, how they are used, some of the examples that we have in sentences, and we want to start with the first preposition, the preposition in. So we will look at the meaning of the preposition in, we look at the uses of the preposition in, and we also give examples of how the preposition in can be used in sentences. So the preposition in. The preposition in is used to show that something is in a given space. It can also be used to talk about a given time frame, that is within a time. It can be used to talk about a group or part of a group. It can talk about an area. It can be a large area, maybe like a country, like a city, or even a continent. The most important part that you need to remember when using the preposition in is that in shows either inside or within something. So let us look at some of the uses of the preposition in, and number one on our list, I want to let you know that the preposition in is used to talk about places. These are enclosed places. So you can use the preposition in when you talk about places that are closed or enclosed. I've given you some examples down here. You can talk of in a room is enclosed, in a box, in a bag, in a car, in a building. We are focusing on an area or a place that is enclosed. That is why we're using the preposition in. In our examples, you can say the keys are in the bag, she is in the room, or he is sitting in the car. Remember, enclosed space or enclosed place. That is where we're using the preposition in. We can also use the preposition in when you are talking about large areas. Large areas can be cities, can be countries, can be continents. Like for example, when you are using in to represent or in big places, you can talk about a country like in Kenya, you can talk of in Somalia, you can have an example of a city like in Nairobi, a continent like in Africa, or a very big or large area like in the world. So we are using in when you are referring to large areas or very large areas. When you look at examples in our sentences, you can look at I live in Kenya, live in Kenya, she works in Nairobi, and lions live in Africa. So we are looking at a country, we are looking at a city or a town, we are looking at a continent or a very large area, like for example, the entire world. You use in. The preposition in can also be used when you are referring to some parts of a place, like when you are referring to parts of a place, especially when you're referring to the inside of a place, like for example, you can say in the kitchen, that is inside the kitchen, In the classroom, referring to inside the classroom. In the garden, that is inside the garden. In the office, inside the office, and many others. So we are looking at in when used to talk about parts of an inside of a place. We can talk of the students are in the classroom, that is they're inside the classroom, or my mother is in the kitchen. That means my mother is inside the kitchen. In can also be used when talking about time, and when we talk about time here we mean long periods of time. Long periods of time. So in short, we are not talking about specific time, we are talking about long periods of time. So like when you talk about months, you can say in January. In January, we are not specific. We are not specific on which date in January. We just talk about in January, the entire month, in August, and many others. When you're using years, you can talk of in 2025. We don't know 2025 January or 2025 December or October. We just talk about 2025. That is long enough. Or in 2010. So when we are talking about long periods of time, when we are not very specific in terms of time, we make use of the preposition in. Still on time, we can also use the preposition in to talk about seasons, or still a long period of time, like you can say in the morning. The morning session is long. It is not very specific. The morning session is long. It can stretch up to 12 hours. In the afternoon, in the evening, you can say in summer, that's a season. You can say in winter, that is a period of time. So like in our examples here, you can talk of she opens in January. She opens in January. We are not so specific. We are not so sure when in January. All we know is that she opens in January. It can be January 1st, maybe January 22nd, or maybe January 15th. I was born in 2001. We are not so sure if it is in 2001 January or maybe in August or December. We are not so sure, but all we know is that I was born in that specific period of time in 2001. 2001 has 12 months, so we are not so sure of the exact month when he was born. Then we study in the morning. Morning, like I said, is a long period of time. It stretches to 12 hours, so we are not so sure of which time specifically in the morning, but we are talking about a long period of time. The preposition in can also be used to talk about time, but this time around we are talking about future, things that are yet to happen. So we can use in when we want to talk about maybe our plans, something that you are planning to do, something that you are planning to do later. So you can have an example like in 2 days, like maybe you can say I'm planning to travel in 2 days time, in a week, in 5 minutes, in 1 year. All these examples are showing the future. These are things that have not yet happened. They are like plans. You are planning to do them. So you can have examples in sentences like the class will start in 10 minutes. So that means in 10 minutes time, the class is going to start. And it means that the class has not started yet. I'll travel in 2 weeks. That is a plan. Whoever is talking is planning to travel in 2 weeks time. We also use the preposition in to talk about conditions or states. The conditions or states can be kind of a situation, or we are looking at a condition that you can be in, or someone can be in, or something can be in. Like for example, you can say someone is in trouble. You can say someone is in danger, or someone is in love, someone is in pain, someone is in a good health. These are just conditions or a state or a situation. Like, for example, in our examples and sentences, you can say, he is in trouble. He is in trouble. They are in love, or the patient is in pain. All these examples are showing you the condition in which the subject or the subjects that we are talking about are in. We can also use the preposition in when talking about groups or activities that are done together. When you are talking about someone being part of something, like if someone is part of a team or part of a group or a class, you can talk of in a team, like maybe in a football team, in a group, like in a group discussion, in a class, in a competition, and many others. Then for our examples, you can say that she is in my class. She is in my class. That means she is part of your class, or she is a member of your class. Then he plays in the school team. That means that he is part of the school team, or he is a member of the school team. So, having looked at the various uses or the various ways in which we can use the preposition in, I want us to look at some of the common mistakes that we make, especially when it comes to the use of the preposition in. It is very, very common, very common. I want to point that out so that you all know that the preposition in is on very many occasions misused in sentences, and that is why we want to have a look at these common mistakes so that you identify the mistake early and correct the mistake. We sometimes use the preposition at and in interchangeably, which is very wrong. You don't say I live at Kenya, like for example, but you say I live in Kenya. That is a large area. You don't say she is on the room, but you say she is in the room. In the room, that is an area that is enclosed. Then you don't say I work at Garowe, you say I work in Garowe. Garowe is big, it's a large area. So since it's a large area, we are going to make use of the preposition in and not at, and many other examples. I want you to pause the video and have a look at the practice exercise on the screen. This exercise is used to help you try to remember the various uses of the preposition in. You can fill in the blank spaces on your own, or you can do it together with a friend or whoever you want to do it with. But first, go through the uses of the preposition in. Know exactly where we are supposed to use the preposition in before you come and attempt the questions. This is a practice that is supposed to help you get more and more used to where and when to use the preposition in. The more you practice, the more you get it, and the less the mistakes or no mistakes at all in as far as the preposition in is concerned. Then in summary, based on what we have talked about today in our lesson, we have talked about the preposition in, the various uses of the preposition in, where we use the preposition in, and the key points that I want to point out so that you also remember, or you keep remembering next time when you are talking about the preposition in. We say that we use the preposition in when talking about something that is inside or an enclosed place. Then we said we use the preposition in when talking about large places or large areas. Then we can use the preposition in when you're talking about long periods of time. This means that we are not talking about specific time. A period of time is long. Then we use in when we're talking about conditions or states. A condition or a state that someone is in or something is in. If this lesson has proved helpful to you, you can follow for more lessons. We have our lessons on TikTok, we have our lessons on Facebook, we have our lessons on YouTube. You can follow and subscribe, Learn English with Simiyu on YouTube. You can also follow my page, Simiyu Creative Hub on Facebook, or you can follow my lessons on TikTok, Teacher Simiyu, so that you practice daily for you to be able to speak confidently. Confidence can be built when you do the practice on daily basis. My lessons are aimed at doing that, so that at the end of the day, you learn the English, you practice the English, you'll be able to speak with confidence